Bangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the latest on the officer-involved shooting in Dexter that left 2 officers and a suspect in the hospital.
Plus, the Lewiston Mass Shooting Commission is learning how complicated the health system for the Army Reserve can be.
And we also caught up with the officer who has been walking a beat in downtown Bangor to see the impact he is making on the area.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll also tell you about an update on the renovations at Bangor City Hall. They gave us a bit of a tour yesterday. Yep. Some changes coming to City Hall. But first, to check out that forecast, the Father's Day weekend is upon us, and it looks like kind of a wet start heading into the weekend, at least today and early tomorrow, but then things should brighten up nicely.
Beautiful day on Sunday itself.
Sounds great.
Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Already, a small crowd advisory remains posted until around 11 p.m. this evening along the coast here because of active surf that will be expected with gusty winds that will be picking up today with a system that will be passing through. Thankfully, no fog to worry about this morning. We've been watching that the last few mornings, and thankfully this morning we are looking pretty good. Radar and satellite is showing some rain tracking from the southwest going to the north and east from last night early this morning. We'll be watching for more showers and thunderstorms that will enter the picture later on today and especially this afternoon. And some of those this afternoon could get on the stronger side, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. More of that coming up in your full forecast. But for now, we're watching showers and storms in some parts of the northeast, tracking from the west and going toward the east. And again, as we get the daytime heating going, more of these storms will be firing. So again, some showers possible today, more storms possible this afternoon to early evening. Notice though we lose the activity overnight, but maybe a small chance for a shower along the coast as we head towards early Saturday morning. The winds will be active out there today out of the southwest at around 10 miles per hour or higher at times. Some gusts up to 20 to 25 miles per hour can't be ruled out. Winds calm down tonight, but they might pick up a little bit for the daytime tomorrow. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing showers and thunderstorms possible. Temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. We'll check in with you a little later on. A woman from Bar Harbor was killed Thursday after crashing a moped into another vehicle. Police say the driver of a pickup truck was stopped in traffic at the intersection of Route 102 and Gilbert Farm Road around 2:45 Thursday afternoon. He noticed the moped coming up quickly behind him, attempted to pull to the right to avoid being hit, but the moped ended up striking the back of the vehicle despite it. Police say 52-year-old Anita Birdsell was thrown from the moped. She was rushed to a hospital where she was later reported dead. Officials say excessive speed and driver inattention was the cause of the crash.
Meanwhile, police say alcohol appears to be a factor in a crash in Woolwich that injured a woman and her 4-year-old son. Authorities say a Toyota RAV4 driven by a 31-year-old woman from Bath went off the road around 7 o'clock Wednesday night. She ended up crashing into a cluster of trees along Middle Road. The woman had to be pried from the wreckage and was airlifted to a hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The 4-year-old boy was also taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Police say it appears the woman was not wearing her seatbelt and was also under the influence of alcohol.
New details this morning on a police-related shooting in Dexter. That's where 2 police officers and a suspect were injured following a violent altercation early Thursday morning. As a warning, the story does contain graphic video of the shooting that may not be suitable for all audiences. Devin Dagnall has more.
According to a press release sent out by Dexter Police, Chief Kevin Wintle and Sergeant Gary Morin were dispatched to Spring Street around 2 a.m. for a man acting erratically. They say when officers arrived on scene, they spoke with 34-year-old Christopher Hongo, who was reportedly yelling and acting aggressively. The release says officers attempted to take Hongo into custody, but he resisted and allegedly assaulted both officers. Video taken from the night of the shooting shows officers tasing Hongo before he pushes them both down a rock wall. Dexter police say Sergeant Morin shot Hongo. All 3 men were taken from the scene and treated for their injuries. The owner of the property where Hongo was shot, Nixon Rio, says he has known Hongo for some time now. He says Hongo was never a tenant, but he was regularly around and usually in good spirits. But over the past month, a notable change has occurred in Hongo's behavior.
Out of nowhere, he was, or even his girlfriend, like I say, she was afraid of him. According to Rios, Hongo had become aggressive and argumentative to the tenants. It was at that time Rios said he had told Hongo he was no longer welcomed at the property. That's when I make my mind, look, he's got to go, because if his girlfriend is saying that she's don't feel safe and she's staying with another relatives because of it, I can't have him. Rios says he attempted to file a complaint against Hongo with Dexter Police Wednesday, but was unable to find anyone to help him. Hongo is currently being treated at Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor. Both officers have been discharged from the hospital and placed on administrative leave. The Attorney General's office is investigating the situation and the officers' use of deadly force. In Dexter, Devin Dagnall, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, a Connecticut fugitive wanted for manslaughter has been captured in Bangor. According to the U.S. Marshal Service, 41-year-old Walter Lawson of Bridgeport, Connecticut, was apprehended at a Bangor hotel. The U.S. Marshal Service's Maine Violent Offender Task Force says that their Maine and Connecticut branches worked together on the arrest. Lawson is reportedly being charged as a fugitive from justice and will be arraigned here in Maine pending extradition back to Connecticut.
A Skowhegan man has been convicted of robbing a convenience store in Madison. A jury found 35-year-old Raymond Ellis guilty yesterday following a two-day trial. Officials say he and two others held up the Big Apple in Madison in August. According to the Morning Sentinel, it took the jury about an hour to find Ellis guilty of robbery, criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon, and theft by unauthorized taking. He's expected to receive his sentence in July.
The commission investigating the Lewiston mass shooting got the chance to learn more about the complicated health system of the Army Reserve. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard has that story.
We have commanders, if you will, that may not be familiar with healthcare.
Colonel Mark Ochoa serves in the Army Reserve Psychological Health Program, a service to help link soldiers, commanders, and healthcare providers in order to facilitate behavioral health services for soldiers. Colonel Ochoa spoke with the commission investigating the Lewiston mass shooting. He was not authorized to talk about specifics related to Robert Card, the reserve soldier who committed the tragedy. Instead, he offered his expertise in navigating the complex health system of the Army Reserves.
Unfortunately, many of our reserves brothers and sisters don't have medical insurance, and so that's really what PHP does, is help link those up with those resources so that we can take care of folks.
Another difference between active duty and the reserves, Colonel Ochoa explained, is the fact that active duty commanders have authority over their soldiers 24/7, where reserve commanders only have authority during times of duty.
Then command directed, yeah, there's not that authority as there is in Compo 1.
Colonel Ochoa was asked if there was still a stigma associated with asking for help for mental health in the military.
Is that a concern that might inhibit commanders or reservists from reaching out?
Of course, the answer is yes.
The commission is expected to release their final report sometime this summer. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bichard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
The Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed the first fatal case of Powassan virus infection in Maine this year. They say the death occurred in York County and was one of the 3 cases of Powassan reported in Maine residents so far this year. The other 2 were in Kennebec and Lincoln counties. Cases of Powassan are rare in the United States, with only 20 to 50 cases per year across the country between 2018 and 2023. People get Powassan through the bite of an infected deer or woodchuck tick. Symptoms can include fever, vomiting, headache, weakness, and seizures. However, many people who are infected with Powassan do not get sick or have symptoms.
A Maine lawmaker and former campaign manager for congressional candidate Mike Sobolewski resigned on Wednesday, saying he, quote, can't be part of anything that supports Austin-Ontario. Representative John Andrews, a Republican from Paris, posted to Facebook that he is retiring from politics after Representative Mike Sobolewski's lost to Representative Austin-Ontario this week. His statement reads, quote, Paris voted for Terrio. That made up my mind. I'm sorry, but I'm done standing up for anything in this community. I'm officially retired from politics. This absolutely disgusts me. Should note also that he was kind of up. His term had ended, so it looks like he was coming to an end anyway, but he wanted to make a statement on the way out.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 6:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, residents are shocked that a major road in Southwest Harbor is still disrupting life for the local community.
We'll have the story coming up, but first, let's take another look at that forecast. A rainy day ahead today, a chance of scattered thunderstorms. Some could be strong, with highs near 77 degrees. The unsettled weather continues overnight, with lows dropping down to the upper 50s. Tomorrow, the rain should wrap up in the morning. Otherwise, a partly cloudy day on Saturday, with highs near 74. We'll be right back.
For Father's Day, GMA is about to give one deserving dad in desperate need of a style upgrade the makeover of all makeovers. It's a Father's Day celebration like no other. The Dad Do-Over. This morning, here's to all the dads we love on Good Morning America.
Bad boy mowers aren't built for everyone. They're built for the bold, the originals, people who get the job done and love every second of it. Bad boys are built for horsepower and cutting-edge precision with a first-of-its-kind 3-link suspension and a style all their own. Because you're not everyone, and that's a good thing. Bad boy, mow with an attitude.
Vehicle running a little rough? Let DNS Auto and Brewer fix you right up. Sales and full-service repair shop. Running great now. DNS Auto, 510 Wilson Street in Brewer. Building relationships through quality sales and service.
Name a way a woman likes her men and her cheese.
Full of adventure.
Family Feud. Stop all this adventure.
Weekdays at 9 on ABC7.
Narrow it down.
Has this actor won an Academy Award?
No.
Oh.
Get a clue.
This actress got her start at Tony and Tina's wedding.
Take a guess.
Melissa!
Person, place, or thing.
Weekdays at 10 on ABC7.
Welcome back, everyone. The Bangor Police Department recently reintroduced their downtown walking beat after years without an officer patrolling the area on foot. Our Grace Blanchard's caught up with the officer who has taken on the role to see how the community is responding.
If you've walked around downtown Bangor in the past few weeks, you likely have seen Officer Keith Larby, who has taken over the downtown walking beat.
You'll see me on foot walking around, checking in with businesses, talking to folks that are down here, and just trying to do my best to keep the downtown area safe and a fun and friendly place for people to come and patronize businesses and enjoy the area.
He says there is a great need to have a more personal police presence along the streets for businesses and community members.
It's not like it's some big secret that we have some issues down here. We've got some folks experiencing homelessness, some people experiencing issues with drug addiction and mental health and things like that.
The program has been suspended for several years now due to staffing issues, but Officer Larby says since taking on the role, he has already received positive feedback from the community.
The reaction to me being down here has been overwhelmingly positive. Everybody, the business owners, the employees, and the people who have seen me around here, it's been truly an unbelievable welcoming to me.
Many businesses say they feel more safe having an officer on the streets.
It's nice just to have a presence downtown. I think it does help people feel a little safer when they're walking on the streets, and it's also just nice to have a friendly face in downtown.
Officer Larby says he will be on the patrol all year round and encourages anyone to approach him if they see him around.
It's been a really wonderful experience, and it hasn't slowed down one bit. I think it's going to continue, and I'm really looking forward to being down here.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
A fairly quiet yet iconic piece of Seawall Road in Southwest Harbor has been closed to commuters since the January storms, causing frustration among those who live and work in the area. The road runs through Acadia National Park, and while the park has repaired its campground and picnic area, restoration to the road is Maine DOT's responsibility. According to MDOT's Director of Communications, the department is considering 3 possibilities. 1, letting the sea reclaim the road and keeping the detour that's currently in place. 2, restoring the road to what it was before the storms. And 3, rebuilding it differently so it's more resilient.
We're shocked that it's even gotten to this point that we're in mid-June and this stretch of land is not open.
On the 27th, Maine DOT will host a public meeting at the Pemedic Elementary School to discuss their options for the storm-damaged portion of the Seawall Road.
Kind of a mess over there.
Very much.
Meanwhile, after severe weather that inevitably brings power outages, folks tend to ask, why not bury Maine's power lines? State regulators say they'll be looking closely at ways to better prepare the grid in the face of climate change.
In the face of climate change, state regulators will be considering what can be done to prepare communities and the power grid.
We're looking at a lot of different things.
There's technology that could reduce outages.
Things like sort of undergrounding power lines.
In the past, it's been an expensive idea, and still is.
But as you start to see more severe storms, there may be places around the state where it makes sense now.
Our priority are major streets because the benefit there is the biggest.
Since the early 90s, the city of Anaheim, California, which has its own power utility, has been burying power lines. 66% are now below its streets.
So in the east, we have prioritized undergrounding utility lines to prevent fire risk.
This also helps with the mundane, like cars hitting poles and wiping out power.
Since 1990, we have had a 4% assessment on all of our utility bills, and that creates a fund.
Overall, it's taken $400 million to do this work. Has the benefit outweighed that cost?
Yes, it has. You can almost take it for granted that you're going to hit a light switch and the power will be on.
We are trying to invest in the grid.
We asked Central Maine Power if the company has considered this option.
We're focused right now on actions that we can take.
CMP says that includes submitting a climate protection plan to the state, which looks at risks to the grid.
We can build the solutions that will be needed to resolve these storms.
Is burying the lines part of that?
Again, we're working on this plan to identify risks to the grid and quantify them.
Maine's veteran community is stepping up to remember a veteran whose remains were abandoned. But thanks to them, he's not forgotten. 86-year-old Jerry Brooks was a Marine Corps vet from Augusta. His body has been held at the Riposta Funeral Home in Belfast since May 18th. His remains have been deemed abandoned. A Riposta funeral director was able to verify his veteran status, and Brooks will be laid to rest at the Augusta Veterans Cemetery. Members of the Belfast VFW, along with multiple other community members, are planning to attend his service.
But we are all family. All of us service members of family. We're all brothers in arms. So it's an honor for us to be able to do this and help support the funeral home and take care of our brothers. It's said that a serviceman dies twice. Once when he takes his final breath, and once when you forget his name. And we would like to go and remember all of our names, for all of us have signed that blank check to serve our country.
Brooks's service takes place on Thursday, June 20th, and members of the public are welcome to come pay their respects. Wow, what a good deed on the part of the funeral home to really reach out and make sure that they could verify that.
Yeah, the VFW too rallying around there. I saw them putting out a call trying to get some folks together for a color guard. They want to make it a full military funeral, and it's going to be quite an event.
Very honorable. Yep. All right, the time now is 6:18. After the break, Florida is bracing for the already substantial flooding to get worse as rains continue.
We'll have that story and more coming up on Good Morning Maine, plus that local weather forecast. Don't go away.
I was hurt in a bad motorcycle accident. I tried to handle it on my own, but I could tell quickly I was in way over my head. The other driver's insurance company was very difficult to work with. That's why I decided to call Joe. Smartest move I ever made. I went from being completely overwhelmed with doctor's appointments and medical bills to feeling normal again. Joe Bornstein's office took care of everything. I was completely satisfied with the outcome. I wish I'd called sooner.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
Dine on the deck with a delicious view at the Lucerne Inn and Ryan's Pub. Experience outdoor dining at its finest. Open Tuesday through Sunday with award-winning dishes from their executive chef, Arturo Montes. Dining on the deck at Ryan's Pub is an unforgettable culinary experience you'll want to share with your family and friends. We are pet-friendly, so your furry friends are always welcome to join you at your table. Your next visit to the Lucerne Inn will feel like the first, all over again.
At least 2 people have died after torrential rains led to a multi-car pileup near Naples. Flash flooding left drivers stranded on roadways, and some people were removed from their homes by boat. And now officials say the danger isn't over yet. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley with more.
Overnight, the National Weather Service sounding the alarm. Again, life-threatening flooding possible for a large part of South Florida through this morning. More water is not what they need here. In Collier County, more than 2 feet of rain has fallen. Police say 2 people in the area were killed after a driver lost control, causing a multi-vehicle crash. In Hallandale Beach, where more than 20 inches has fallen, residents attempted to clean up even as the rain fell. For one driver, it was hard to tell where the road stopped.
Crews are pulling that car out of that canal right now. The woman who was driving the car says she didn't realize there was a body of water there. Just look, it's basically even with the street level. She thought she was turning onto another street. Instead, she plunged right in.
That woman crawled out her window. In Miami, the streets lined with abandoned vehicles. Tow truck driver Leo Alonso telling our team his phone has been ringing nonstop.
I don't even answer anymore.
Really?
I don't even answer. It's too much.
Some homes still drying out.
Frogs, flying bugs everywhere.
That's what Darla Castillo says the water brought inside her home.
We were scared. We ended up staying in the living room because we didn't feel safe in the bedrooms if the water was coming in from all sides.
But some are taking advantage of the situation. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Boy, horrible situation down there.
Yeah, you know? I don't think I'd be floating in it though.
You wouldn't?
No.
You never know what's in the water down there. Anyway, it looks like we will have some unsettled weather today, maybe some strong thunderstorms later on, but the good news is it'll get nice just in time for Father's Day.
Yeah, right. It's a good Friday night for a movie.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Alrighty, here we go. Small crowd advisory is up along the coast until 11 p.m. this evening because of active surf that will be expected with gusty winds that will be picking up across the region today. Wave heights are already showing that they're active out there at around 3 to 4 feet. We might see these increase just a little bit more as we'll be watching for gusty winds that will be moving in and some of those stronger storms that could be on the way later today as well. But for now, though, we're just seeing some showers across the northern parts of the state. More activity off toward the west. We'll have showers passing through this morning and the parts of the afternoon. Then some stronger thunderstorms possible late afternoon as well. Some of those could produce some gusty winds, hail, and heavy downpours with them as well. But for now, just watching showers and a few rumbles of thunder in the northeastern parts of the U.S. Other areas across the Midwest seeing showers and storms developing this morning. A lot of this tracking from the west to the east and some of this from the northwest to the south and east as well. But for now, though, Futurecast showing showers possible for us this morning. And again this afternoon, some storms possible during the afternoon period with the daytime heating. We'll hold on to the clouds overnight as the showers and storms back off. A slight chance for a shower as we head towards early Saturday morning, but notice so we get that and the clouds out of here pretty quickly. And the rest of Saturday looking like a very nice day. And then once we head towards Saturday night under a mostly clear sky, so Saturday night looks to be rather peaceful. Otherwise, though, there's a storm chances coming in later this afternoon. The green area indicates a marginal threat for the storms to turn strong to severe, so a 1 out of 5 risk. The yellow shaded area is a 2 out of 5 risk or a slight risk for storms to turn strong to severe. So again, gusty winds, hail, and heavy downpours are possible in these areas coming up today. Otherwise, though, rainfall could also be a thing as well. Some spots could possibly reach up to a half an inch before we're all finished up, while other areas maybe not as much, maybe a quarter of an inch or less possible before we're all finished up. The rain will be scattered scattered in nature today. Otherwise, though, we will have moisture for the rain to work with as well. Dew points today. It'll feel a little humid out there at times with dew points reaching to the 60s, maybe getting close to the 70s at times. Will improve for the weekend. Then once we get towards next week, here we go again. Dew points back in the 70s possibly yet again. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So a forecast coming up for today, upper 70s, scattered strong to severe thunderstorms. Can't be ruled out. The threat not very high, but we'll have to keep an eye on it with hail and some gusty winds and heavy downpours possible. And at south wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour at times. By tonight, some thunderstorms possible early, then becoming mostly cloudy with lows in the upper 50s and the wind becoming light and variable. And for tomorrow, here we go. Highs in the mid 70s. Some isolated morning showers can be ruled out. Otherwise, partly cloudy. It gets better later into the afternoon with the north wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour. All right, let's check out that extended forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth. On Father's Day, mostly sunny, highs in the mid 70s, upper 70s for your Monday under a mostly cloudy sky. And then it gets hot out there, upper 80s Tuesday under a mostly cloudy sky.
Hi, I'm Barry Gass, and my grandfather started Gass Horse Supply and Western Wear right here in Orono in 1911. Just after World War II, my father ran the business for decades. Now, with my wife and wonderful staff, we are continuing the tradition of bringing the American West to Maine. Our authentic Western boots are handcrafted for comfort, style, work, and casual wear. Saddle up with our premium selection of top quality saddles. Top it off with the perfect hat from classic to modern ranch. Gass Horse Supply and Western Wear in Orono, where the American West comes alive in Maine.
Hello, fellow flyers. I'm the Savvy Traveler, here to share the secrets of convenience at Bangor International Airport. Parking, you're steps away from the terminal. Inside, even more conveniences. And friendly, efficient security. All of these make BGR the official airport of you. Remember, the Savvy Travel through Bangor International Airport. FlyBangor.com.
Goose River Farm and Meat Store is conveniently located on Route 3 across from Hammond Lumber in Belfast. They have a wide selection of meat and poultry, including beef, pork, lamb, chicken, duck, rabbit, and turkey. Open Tuesday through Saturday.
When R&K Variety in Hamden wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. R&K Variety is more than just a convenience store, offering fresh cooked meals that don't break the bank, gasoline for your mean machines, or beer and wine so your night is fine. Stop by today.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Israeli tanks are advancing deeper into the Gazan city of Rafah. The move comes as Hezbollah terrorists fire additional rockets from Lebanon into northern Israel. Fox News correspondent Trey Gingst has the latest from Tel Aviv.
Tensions along the Israel-Lebanon border are boiling. Hezbollah retaliating with its single largest rocket barrage in a day after Israel killed a top Hezbollah commander this week. Hundreds of rockets, along with dozens of attack drones, were launched from southern Lebanon as the Iran-backed group vows to escalate the ongoing conflict.
We will increase our operations in intensity, force, quantity, and quality, and let him wait for us in the field.
Israeli airstrikes have pummeled southern Lebanon in recent days, going after Hezbollah strongholds and rocket launching positions. Efforts are ongoing to reach an understanding with Hezbollah to avoid the situation unraveling into a larger war, but time is running out.
Whether through diplomatic efforts or otherwise, Israel will restore security on our northern border. Israel will respond with force to all aggressions by Hezbollah.
Reports indicate that American officials are urging the Israelis to use restraint and not escalate the ongoing conflict, although with fires raging across northern Israel and no end in sight for the war in Gaza, Israeli officials could launch a larger offensive action without the blessing of their U.S. allies.
You see the conflict in the north of Israel continue to reach concerning levels, and we want to tackle all of those issues, and the best way to do that is through a ceasefire.
With major developments in the north, Israeli forces continue to operate on the southern front in Gaza. Those soldiers are getting closer to the main humanitarian zone, but aren't striking it. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Donald Trump returns to Capitol Hill. It's his first visit since a mob of his supporters tried to overtake the Capitol building on January 6th of 2021. The former president, who is now a convicted felon, but also the likely Republican nominee for the 2024 presidential election, met with House and Senate Republicans on Thursday. He's expected to deliver remarks about a range of campaign issues, including mass deportations and tax cuts.
In the midst of what some business experts call a retirement crisis, it looks like more and more Americans could be working later on in life. According to the latest data from the Census Bureau's survey of income and program participation, 49% of adults between the ages of 55 and 66 had no personal retirement savings back in 2017. Dr. Joelle Sad-Lessler of the Stevens Institute of Technology says the situation doesn't appear to be getting any better. She identifies a switch back in the 80s where many companies went from pension systems to 401ks.
New investment vehicle that was created where it was part of the tax code where they said, listen, if you save money for retirement, we're not going to tax you for that. And so a lot of companies are like, you know what? This sounds great for us.
Ks have put greater burdens on workers to have to manage their own financial futures, adding it only seems to benefit Americans with higher incomes who have enough money to actually put it away.
Seems like everybody's retirement age is getting pushed back these days.
You know, I'm concerned about it too. There's no way I'm going to retire at 65. I'll be here a long, long time.
Right. Even people who had a savings in 2017. It's not just folks who didn't.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, coming up on the second half of the newscast, after several decades of service, the ship called the State of Maine is on what could be its final journey. We'll check in on their midpoint off the coast of Spain.
That and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Harris Lumber is locally owned and has been serving the Pequot region for more than 50 years. See them for all your projects, big or small. Customer service is their #1 priority. And with a full line of lumber and hardware items, they can also deliver to your job site. Harris Lumber, Milo.
Hi, I'm Barry Gass, and my grandfather started Gass Horse Supply and Western Wear right here in Orono in 1911. Just after World War II, my father ran the business for decades. Now, with my wife and wonderful staff, we are continuing the tradition of bringing the American West to Maine. Our authentic Western boots are handcrafted for comfort, style, work, and casual wear. Saddle up with our premium selection of top quality saddles. Top it off with the perfect hat from classic to modern ranch. Gass Horse Supply and Western Wear in Orono, where the American West comes alive in Maine.
Every year, older Mainers are taken advantage of, pressured into doing things that are not in their best interest. Watch for these red flags and talk to a lawyer before you act. Don't be pressured to sign a power of attorney, deed, or loan document. To sign away your home, even with promises you can live there the rest of your life. To give someone your credit card or access to your money. Call Legal Services from Maine Elders for free, confidential legal advice.
At North Ellsworth Auction Company, we understand the value of heirlooms, whether collected or inherited. With 150 years of combined experience, let our experts handle your estates. Join us every second and fourth week of the month for our live auctions. North Ellsworth Auction Company, your trusted partner in finding new homes for your treasures.
When it comes to the whole home heat pump rebates from Efficiency Maine, there's money on the table for everyone, and the experts at Valley Home Services are here to help you get your share. Even if you received a rebate in the past, you can still take advantage of this program with a new Fujitsu heat pump for your whole house. And no matter your income, there's a rebate for you. Let the folks at Valley Home Services lay out a Fujitsu heat pump plan for you so you can start saving on heating and cooling for your home. Don't leave money on the table. Call Valley Home Services today and get your rebate instantly.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Friday, June 14th, 2024, and it is also Flag Day.
Today's holiday commemorates the adoption of the American flag by the Continental Congress in 1777. The first flag featured the same 13 red and white stripes we see today, but the number and arrangement of stars have changed as the number of states increased over the years. In fact, there have been 27 variations in flag designs over the years.
Yeah.
Cool.
By the way, this is not a federal holiday, so post offices, schools, that kind of thing will remain open.
That's
so
good.
Just want to point that out.
I did need to go to the post office today.
Did you? Okay.
For a variety of things.
You are in luck then. All right, on this day in history, back in 1834, Isaac Fisher Jr. patented sandpaper in Springfield, Vermont. However, the first documented sandpaper appeared in China during the 13th century, where crushed seashells were bonded to parchment paper during a highly sophisticated process. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
So even something common as sandpaper has a really long history.
Right, it makes sense.
So,
I mean, and it's something that's so simple to us now.
Right.
And easily replaceable.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, moving on, in 1919, John Alcock and Arthur Whitten Brown set out on the first nonstop flight across the Atlantic. They took off in a biplane from St. John's, Newfoundland, and arrived in Ireland 16 and a half hours later. Seems like a lot of people were trying to do that around that time.
16 and a half hours later, now that's a 6-hour flight.
Yeah, in a little biplane though.
Gotcha,
it
gotcha,
took them a
gotcha.
while to get there. In 1940, German troops began entering Paris during World War II, and it was on the same day that the Nazis began transporting prisoners to the Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland. In 1943, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that public school students could not be forced to salute the American flag.
On Flag Day.
On Flag Day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in 1954, President Eisenhower signed a measure adding the phrase "under God" to the Pledge of Allegiance. I think a lot of us forget that that was, added after, or I only learned that recently.
I learned it this morning.
Yeah.
I thought it was always part of the pledge.
Right,
yeah.
right. In 1959, the Disneyland monorail system opened to the public in California. It was the first daily monorail system in the Western Hemisphere. Disney World in Orlando got their own monorail system in 1971.
I figured we'd have those in our cities by now, everywhere, Nice monorail system.
I know.
That's cool.
I would be overjoyed if Amtrak were to get us, just even Amtrak,
Wouldn't that be great?
were to have a stop in Bangor.
Right.
Because I would be taking that to all sorts of places all the time.
Tell your local lawmaker they're talking about it. I think Joe Baldacci, Senator Joe Baldacci, is pushing for it.
Right, I know.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. In 1993, President Bill Clinton nominated Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. In 2005, Michelle Wie became the first female golfer to qualify for an adult male U.S. Golf Association championship. That came after she tied for first place in a 36-hole qualifying tournament.
A big day for women golfers that day.
Yeah, cool.
Today's birthdays include actress Lucy Hale, who is 35 years old today. Actor Will Patton is 70. He's like one of my favorite actors, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's just in a ton of things. Great character actor.
Yep.
And former President Donald Trump is 78 years old today.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to all of them.
I didn't see anything in the news about that.
Yeah.
Okay, happy birthday to them. Moving right along now. It's going to be kind of a rainy Friday.
Rainy Friday, chance of some strong thunderstorms later.
Yep. Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Already, a small crowd advisory remains posted until around 11 p.m. this evening along the coast here because of active surf that will be expected with gusty winds that will be picking up today with a system that will be passing through. Thankfully, no fog to worry about this morning. We've been watching that the last few mornings, and thankfully this morning we are looking pretty good. Radar and satellite is showing some rain tracking from the southwest going to the north and east from last night early this morning. We'll be watching for more showers and thunderstorms that will enter the picture later on today and especially this afternoon. And some of those this afternoon could get on the stronger side, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. More of that coming up in your full forecast. But for now, we're watching showers and storms in some parts of the northeast, tracking from the west and going toward the east. And again, as we get the daytime heating going, more of these storms will be firing. So again, some showers possible today, more storms possible this afternoon to early evening. Notice though we lose the activity overnight, but maybe a small chance for a shower along the coast as we head towards early Saturday morning. The winds will be active out there today out of the southwest at around 10 miles per hour or higher at times. Some gusts up to 20 to 25 miles per hour can't be ruled out. Winds calm down tonight, but they might pick up a little bit for the daytime tomorrow. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing showers and thunderstorms possible. Temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. So not too rainy.
No.
I was wrong. In May, the training ship State of Maine set sail for what may be its final voyage after nearly 3 decades of service.
Now at that midpoint of that journey, our David Ledford checked in with the crew as they make their way around Spain.
Just finished a 4-day port call in Santa Cruz de Tenerife, and now we're on our way to Palma de Mallorca.
Maine Maritime Academy students are now sailing the training ship State of Maine through Spanish waters for its 27th expedition, and they say it's going swimmingly.
It is a great experience. What other schools except for maritime academies get to travel around the world with 200 of your best friends for an entire summer?
On each voyage, both students and teachers say they take away something new. But on a trip like this one, the experience really hits home.
Those little moments where they realize that whatever they learned in the classroom finally clicks. It's fantastic. That's why you do a job like this.
You're learning just like the basic skills of like living on a ship, working in an engine room, different technical skills as well, skills and knowledge of how different machineries work, like different machines work.
And those who have watched the students grow over the years say the hands-on experience prepares the next generation of mariners for a life at sea.
The students are future engineers on vessels and in industry. This is a working laboratory, and so being down there amidst the noise and the heat and the running machinery, you can notice when things are happening in real time.
The Academy will receive a new training vessel by early 2025, but Maine Maritime Academy representatives say there's a chance that crews will sail the State of Maine again if the replacement doesn't arrive in time.
It's kind of sad to see it leave, but it's also a good feeling.
If this is the last one, I'm grateful to have been a part of it.
The crew will return home in mid-July. In studio, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a great experience for them.
Yeah, so kind of still up in the air for the next round of students
Yep.
before it comes in 2025.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember the other State of Maine, the one previous to that. It looked like kind of like an old cruise ship, like a traditional ship. And,
Really?
and when this new one came, everybody's like, "Ooh, that looks kind of weird looking." And
Militarized.
But now we're kind of fond of that one too.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I know Susan Collins and Angus King have advocated for MMA recently.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, still to come here this morning, Tyler Cruz will have the latest with sports.
Don't go away.
Your local professional eco-friendly office space partner is WVII Business Solutions, your one-stop shop to get the job done. Handling all your office furniture and printing machine needs at an affordable price. Offering full system integration into your workplace and local service on everything we sell. We can even remote monitor your system with just-in-time inventory and service need assessments. Little to no downtime gives you peace of mind. At WVII Business Solutions, your solution is only an email or a phone call away.
Your best days of the year start here at Kubota Orange Days. It's the year's biggest selection of Kubota tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles, including the #1 selling compact tractor in the USA. Plus, get 0 down and 0% APR for 84 months or up to $2,800 off select BX tractors. Orange goes all day. Sales ending soon. Visit your local dealer today.
Adding comfort and beauty to your home for less is as easy as 1, 2, 3 during Renewal by Andersen's Easy 3Z replacement window event. The time to act is now because Renewal by Andersen is making it easy and affordable with huge discounts on our exclusive custom replacement windows and our doors, along with special financing options so affordable you won't want to miss out on this event. And to top it all off, professional installation by our certified master installers is always included. Like we said, Easy 3Z. Call today.
Local news weeknights at 6 with Beth Jones and Peter Dubois on ABC 7.
After a roller coaster of a Game 3, the Boston Celtics are just one win away from raising Banner 18. Welcome back in, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. What a time to be alive. For the first time since Larry Bird, the Celtics have a 3-0 lead in the NBA Finals. The C's can clinch their 18th NBA championship in franchise history, the most in the NBA Friday night in Dallas. Game 4 tip-off at 8:30 on ABC. The Seas fell behind early yesterday, but broke open a 20-point lead before a huge late run by the Mavericks brought the game within a single possession. But thanks to the depth of the Celtics and some great clutch play from Jaylen Brown, the Seas able to win 106-99. Brown had 30 points on the night, and earlier he said last year's loss to the Miami Heat has motivated him this postseason.
The team was relying on me. I mean, JT got hurt in Game 7, and I dropped the ball. So, you know, to me it was embarrassing, and it drove me all summer. It drove me crazy.
Love to hear that. Now it's time for another high school state championship preview. Nokomis softball is back-to-back Class B North champs, and they feel the adversity they faced this year could bring them their first gold glove. Ryan Sudol has more.
We have just like the best team mentality going into Saturday, and we're really, really excited to show what we can do.
For the second year in a row and in their history, Nokomis softball is heading to states as regional champions.
Being here with, all my friends, and they're like my family, so I'm super excited to have that opportunity again.
To win it 2 years in a row is really tough in this league. It really is. It is something really special.
Before their 14-game win streak, the Warriors were just 3-2, but they quickly realized the changes they needed to make, switching the underclassmen to the outfield and focusing on veterans in the infield.
Our young girls learned how to track fly balls like nobody's business. Our upperclassmen took a new position and ran with it. It really goes to show that we're here for each other. We're not here for personal gain.
Who didn't need changing was Mia Coots. We could talk about the all-star pitcher's mechanics and insane numbers all day, but just as big to her years-long success is her confidence.
Nobody's going to stop her, and that's her mentality, and I love to see it because it's super intimidating from the other side.
If I go out there and I know that I'm better than the batter I'm facing, then my girls have no fear. I don't care what their stats are.
Now the Warriors prepare for South champs York in a rematch of last year's Class B title game, which they lost, their first loss of that season. With that and this year's losses, they now know how to lose.
That loss allows them to feel the little bit of want. Going undefeated is kind of dangerous because you don't know what it feels like to get behind. And now we've been behind in games. These type of situations have only helped the team.
And handling that adversity could lead to the ultimate reward, the team's first ever Gold Glove.
I would love to do that my last year here at Nokomis, last sport ever. It would be really amazing.
I bleed burgundy through and through, and so it would really mean everything to bring something back to my community.
In Newport, I'm Ryan Sudol, ABC 7, Fox 22 Sports.
Thanks for that, Ryan. Been fun watching the Warriors this season. Staying with high school state championships now. The day we've all been waiting for is on Saturday. Baseball and softball finals going on around Maine. Let's take a look at our schedule. Starting with softball, Oxford Hills from the north takes on Cheverus. That's at 1 p.m. at Central Maine Community College in Auburn. York and Nokomis, a rematch from last year's state championship. That's at 12:30 at the University of Southern Maine. Bucksport and Halldale play at 3:30 at Keswick Field at UMaine, and then North Yarmouth and PVHS at 4 p.m. also at Southern Maine. To baseball now, Messalonsky and Scarborough, 1 p.m. at Morton Field in Augusta. Class B, Yarmouth versus Caribou, 4:30 p.m. at the University of Southern Maine. Bucksport and Sacapee Valley, both Class C games are at the University of Maine. Bucksport baseball plays at 1 p.m. at Mahaney Diamond, and then Class D is St. Dom's versus Stearns. That's 1 p.m. at the University of Southern Maine. Wishing all of our athletes the best chance to watch. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
If you've been injured and think you can't afford a lawyer, think again.
Lowry and Associates can be your lawyers, and there's no fee unless they win money for you.
We don't get paid unless you get paid. We call it the Lowry Guarantee.
You got nothing to lose. Just call the twos. They win or it's free. That's the Lowry Guarantee.
Lowry and Associates settled my case for $300,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Glenburn, is sponsored by University of Maine Early College. Tuition-free online courses for high school students. umaine.edu/earlycollege. Old Town Redemption, offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. And Dill's Outdoors, now open at 2354 Broadway in Bangor, also offering pizza, beer, and more.
Calling all garden lovers, the Peony Society of Maine. Peony? Yeah. Oh, I guess it is peony, isn't it?
Yeah.
A big old fluffy flower.
Right.
All right. The Peony Society of Maine is holding their 23rd annual garden tour on Saturday here in Bangor. From 10 until 3, 6 different gardeners will be showing off their blooming beds. The tour will begin at 1348 Ohio Street in Bangor, and it is open to the public with a suggested donation of $5. To learn more, you can head to the Peony Society of Maine.net.
Peonies are my favorite flower.
I used to have those too.
Yeah.
You think I'd know what they are.
They're pretty finicky. Yeah. You got to be a good gardener to have good peonies.
That's the ones that you need the ant to open them up, isn't that it? They go up and they play around on it, and that makes the blood open up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought I read that somewhere.
I don't know. They think they do it on their own.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah, but they're beautiful.
I'll have to Google it.
Yeah, let's Google it.
We got other things to talk about.
Well, renovations at Bangor's City Hall are about halfway complete. Yesterday, the city engineer led a media tour to showcase some of the work being done. The goal of the renovations is to make the building more user-friendly and accessible. To reach that goal, the city is moving most public services and the council chambers to the first floor. They're also making some handicap accessibility improvements to the elevator and installing a new heating and cooling system throughout the building. City officials say the total budget for the project is around $9 million.
It's a 1913 building. I think the last major renovation was in '68, and the heating, well, we have heating that's very old, and there's really no cooling associated with the building. So that's all going to be new, and that's going to be for every floor in the building. So it won't only be nice for people who come to visit, but it'll be nice for the people that work here at City Hall.
City Hall services have been temporarily relocated to the Penquist Building at 262 Harlow Street. Construction is expected to be complete by January 2025. And don't let it being relocated to Penquist deter you from going to get your stuff done. I was there the other day. A lot of parking, very accessible and easy.
Just down the road, too.
Yep, good stuff. And I'm excited to see it's going to be all done soon.
Yeah. All right, time for another look at that forecast with Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local LoadRide authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Alrighty, here we go. Small crowd advisories up along the coast until 11 p.m. this evening because of active surf that will be expected with gusty winds that will be picking up across the region today. Wave heights are already showing that they're active out there at around 3 to 4 feet. We might see these increase just a little bit more as we'll be watching for gusty winds that will be moving in and some of those stronger storms that could be on the way later today as well. But for now, though, we're just seeing some showers across the northern parts of the state. More activity off toward the west. We'll have showers passing through this morning and the parts of the afternoon. And then some stronger thunderstorms possible late afternoon as well. Some of those could produce some gusty winds, hail, and heavy downpours with them as well. But for now, just watching showers and a few rumbles of thunder in the northeastern parts of the U.S. Other areas across the Midwest seeing showers and storms developing this morning. A lot of this tracking from the west to the east and some of this from the northwest to the south and east as well. But for now, though, futurecast showing showers possible for us this morning and again this afternoon. Some storms possible during the afternoon period with the daytime heating. We'll hold on to the clouds overnight as the showers and storms back off. A slight chance for a shower as we head towards early Saturday morning, but notice so we get that and the clouds out of here pretty quickly and the rest of Saturday looking like a very nice day. And then once we head towards Saturday night under a mostly clear sky, so Saturday night looks to be rather peaceful. Otherwise, though, there's a storm chances coming in later this afternoon. The green area indicates a marginal threat for the storms to turn strong to severe, so a 1 out of 5 risk. The yellow shaded area is a 2 out of 5 risk or a slight risk for storms to turn strong to severe. So again, gusty winds, hail, and heavy downpours are possible in these areas coming up today. Otherwise, though, rainfall could also be a thing as well. Some spots could possibly reach up to a half an inch before we're all finished up, while other areas maybe not as much, maybe a 1/4 of an inch or less possible before we're all finished up. The rain will be scattered moderate in nature today. Otherwise, though, we will have moisture for the rain to work with as well. Dew points today. It'll feel a little humid out there at times with dew points reaching into the 60s, maybe getting close to the 70s at times. Will improve for the weekend. Then once we get towards next week, here we go again. Dew points back in the 70s possibly yet again. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So a forecast coming up for today, upper 70s, scattered strong to severe thunderstorms. Can't be ruled out. The threat not very high, but we'll have to keep an eye on it with hail and some gusty winds and heavy downpours possible. And that south wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour at times. By tonight, some thunderstorms possible early, then becoming mostly cloudy with lows in the upper 50s and the wind becoming light and variable. And for tomorrow, here we go. Highs in the mid 70s. Some isolated morning showers can be ruled out. Otherwise, partly cloudy. It gets better later into the afternoon with the north wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour. All right, let's check out that extended forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth. On Father's Day, mostly sunny, highs in the mid 70s. Upper 70s for your Monday under a mostly cloudy sky. And then it gets hot out there. Upper 80s Tuesday under a mostly cloudy sky.
If you've been injured in an accident, get Maine's most recognized personal injury law firm working for you today. The law offices of Joe Bornstein, fighting and winning for injured Mainers for nearly 50 years. Selected best lawyers in America for personal injury, recognized for professional excellence. With more than $500 million collected for injured Mainers and over 25,000 victories for Maine families. Call Joe for a free case evaluation and get the Bornstein Advantage.
Embrace the journey, where each moment turns into a cherished memory. Ensuring life's journey and experiences along the way. AAA, we're always with you.
Dine on the deck with a delicious view at the Lucerne Inn and Ryan's Pub. Experience outdoor dining at its finest. Open Tuesday through Sunday with award-winning dishes from their executive chef, Arturo Montes. Dining on the deck at Ryan's Pub is an unforgettable culinary experience you'll want to share with your family and friends. We are pet-friendly, so your furry friends are always welcome to join you at your table. Your next visit to the Lucerne Inn will feel like the first, all over again.
Goose River Farm and Meat Store is conveniently located on Route 3 across from Hammond Lumber in Belfast. They have a wide selection of meat and poultry, including beef, pork, lamb, chicken, duck, rabbit, and turkey. Open Tuesday through Saturday.
Welcome to our annual gathering, the NBA Finals. Here we go. At the center of it are two exceptional teams, and yet you're all a part of it. But remember, no one sips the champagne until a champ is crowned.
The truth is out there, and if it's about aliens, are they spies like us? A new study by Harvard University's Human Flourishing Program speculates that unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UFOs, may be spaceships visiting alien friends planted on Earth, who are disguised as humans trying to fit in. The study examines 4 different alien theories, including technologically advanced ancient human civilization, advanced non-humans, ETs from the future, and magical crypto-terrestrial creatures. Interesting. I think I might be an alien. We'll continue broadcasting on Fox 22.
Any slow sipper knows you'll enjoy your drink from McDonald's longer than anyone else.
Savor every sip of your favorite any-size soft drink for just $1.29. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
There are plenty of good reasons to have a dock at your camp or lakefront home, and to choose a ShoreMaster Premium Dock System or Floating Poly Dock System from Hammond Lumber Company. Lightweight and durable, ShoreMaster high-grade aluminum docks are easy to install and maintain, and poly docks are perfect for dealing with deep or fluctuating water levels. Both offer a wide range of available configurations. There's a ShoreMaster or a poly dock system that's right for you, and you'll find it at Hammond Lumber Company.
Spring is here, and so are the savings at the Furniture Gallery. Relax with a reclining sofa and recliner for only $9.98. Opening up camp, queen mattresses starting at $188, and sleeper sofas starting at $5.98. power lift recliners also starting at $598. Or save $100 on medical grade lift recliners. All Flex Steel now 10% off, and all Von Bassett bedroom sets 20% off. It's easy to buy at the Furniture Gallery with 18-month 0% interest financing. The Furniture Gallery.
Welcome to 207 Collectibles, your ultimate destination for all things collectible and gaming, where every dream comes true and a little magic is always in stock. Whether you're looking for vintage video consoles or games, Pokemon, D&D, Magic cards, NASCAR collectibles, board games, or even Funkos, we've got it all. Come visit 207 Collectibles. Your collection is our passion.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Kick your morning routine into high gear with any sized iced coffee for just $1.99.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
On WFVX, Fox 22. To the Rock Post and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, the latest on the officer-involved shooting in Dexter that left 2 officers and a suspect in the hospital.
Plus, the Lewiston Mass Shooting Commission is learning how complicated the health system for the Army Reserve can be.
And we caught up with the officer who has been walking a beat in downtown Bangor to see the impact he's making on the area. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. We'll have those stories and a lot more coming up. But first, to check the forecast, the Father's Day weekend is upon us. Looks like we have to get through some rainy weather today and tomorrow morning before the skies brighten up. Looks like Father's Day itself is going to be a great day.
Beautiful day.
Yeah.
Perfect day. Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought